In Myrtle Beach, you always go at your own pace. Lie out on the sand, lie out by the pool, go boogie boarding, go surfing, walk the boardwalk, walk the marsh walk, golf at one of 90 golf courses, mini golf at one of 50 mini golf courses, fish off a pier, fish from a chartered boat, go shopping, get drinks, eat the freshest seafood. The list is exhaustive, but the experience isn't. You can go all out or do nothing at all. How you relax is up to you. There is so much to do and explore, whether you're traveling with friends, family, or just yourself. With 60 miles of beach, you're going to find your place. If this sounds like what you need, then this is where you belong.
Cast a line out and stay a while. The Trilogy Outdoors radio show crew is setting it down in the no-wake zone. If you think the public landing on a Saturday afternoon is entertaining, just sit back and enjoy the next couple of hours of your Saturday morning with the Grand Strand's longest-running outdoor radio show. Captain E and the crew want to help make your time on the water less stressful and more successful. Let's send it to the crew in the Sparks Toyota Tundra studio.
All right, folks, and good morning. Welcome to Trilogy Outdoors Radio Show. It is our pleasure to be here with you this week live, and we are coming to you from Marshall's Marine in Georgetown. We'll be talking a lot about what we're doing here and why we're here today, but we are brought to you by Marshall's Marine and Key West Boats of Lake City and Georgetown, where every day is a boat show. Every day! Fred's going to have trouble with this microphone thing, I can already tell, having to reach over and grab it. But we are also brought to you by our good friends out of Sparks Toyota and the studio, where Jenna's holding things down back there. We're here for a reason. I'll tell you what, it's been an incredible. The last week has been incredible. It's been inspiring. If it hasn't brought back a little bit of faith in humanity for everybody, then you don't have your eyes open and you got no chance anyway. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. But we are down here and we are trying to collect more items to send up to our friends in the mountains of western North Carolina, and doing that with Marshall's Marine and with NWTF 5 Rivers chapter, Mr. Chris Wilson and crew. We've got a tent inside the store here that is starting to fill up. We need to go ahead and fill it up. They're going to be leaving on Tuesday with stuff. So if you are a Gator listener and you're in the Georgetown area, we got a place right here for you to drop off. Come over and see us. We're out front. We're in the parking lot until the traffic gets too loud that we have to leave. But I think it sounds fine. Traffic's not too bad, is it? Anybody going to talk other than me? No. I was just wondering. Nope. Yeah, this is how it is, Carter. Yeah, for real. It's just like, I mean, we really are prepared. We do a flight plan every day before we go on there. Yeah. We drink a Coca-Cola and say a quick prayer and hope we get through it.
Yeah, and folks, if you don't quite understand, there's a lot of relief coming out of Murrells Inlet, the fishing crowd down there, and we're all doing a small
and
part.
Georgetown.
In Georgetown, it's just a small part of a armada of people that are going up there that I saw yesterday. It's unbelievable. Not military, not government, not anybody organized, just folks that care hauling stuff up, and it's pretty amazing thing.
Yeah, real quick, as most know, the needs of our neighbors to the north and our friends in the upstate are tremendous, continue to be tremendous, will be tremendous for months and probably in a lot of cases years. And joining us in this first segment is Tony's nephew that he is completely and rightfully very proud of. I'm proud to call him a friend. And we got him over stage fright. And we got a microphone on him, but it's Carter Sheridan.
We'll just call you the tower, E.
I'm the tower. That's what I told him. I told him in the text. I said, just treat me like an air traffic controller. But Carter Sheridan is joining us, and for anybody that doesn't know, Carter is a pilot. He's you're a certified trainer now.
Yep, certified flight instructor, yep.
And, man, dude,
What about your week, Ryan?
golly.
Tired. Had almost probably about 37 hours behind the stick flying back and forth into Asheville and everything. So it's been back and forth in between my regular job and flying other stuff. So
Wait a minute. You got a regular job?
I guess you could call that flying a regular job. But
You fly?
yeah, I fly for other people.
That's awesome. And that, because you were in Puerto Rico this week?
Yep.
I mean, just so you know, folks, he's 22 years old. He didn't even know how old he was, honestly. He just
I just rolled over.
he had to think about it. It just rolled over.
He's younger than we are, I know that.
Yeah. Yeah. And Carter and, let's see, you got Casey, your sister,
Yep.
and then other one, well,
Kayla.
And Angel,
Yep.
their mother. I'll tell you, I've texted her quite a few times this week and to let her know how completely proud she should be of y'all. Y'all have done an incredible job, and you're working with a church on the relief deal that y'all are doing, correct?
Yep.
Here in town,
Yep,
here in
you got it.
Georgetown.
Yep.
Who is it?
It is Georgetown First Assembly of God.
There you go.
Yep. They're right there on kind of like the turn to East Bay. I guess you'd call that St. James Street. And
They doing collections as well?
Yep, they're still doing collections. They were collecting most of it all in the gym, and they took out 2 big trailers last night, headed towards Statesville and dropping back off there. I think one of them dropped off last night, and one of them's dropping off this morning.
And it started off with it was all airplane at first.
Yep, it did. But now some of the roads are starting to get opened up, helping people get in and stuff. So they can obviously carry a whole lot more than we can, but we can get in a whole lot of places that aren't accessible by roads. And
I don't know. I've seen some of them little flappers you've been flying around in, and they packed out, look like matchsticks.
They was packed out. They was rolling out good.
And I have some experience with overpacking airplanes. My uncle and my uncle got a delivery. This is when he was a golf pro. He got a delivery of golf balls from the Titleist rep while he was playing in a golf tournament in Columbia, and they had actually flown up. He flew up with Mr. Charlie Stone, and everybody listening knows Charles Stone. He used to own Marlin Quay Marina. But he flew up with Charles, and they landed on the golf course. And in the meantime, the golf balls got delivered. Well, he didn't tell the pilot that he had added all those golf balls. Well, they were taken off on a golf hole, and apparently he wasn't happy with the speed when he got to where he should have raised it. So he stopped, and he said, something's wrong. And that was when the golf balls were found to have been slipped in the airplane. And they ended up having to leave it. They ended up having to leave the plane and get another pilot to fly it out. But you're landing. I mean, you started off. You were flying into Hickory. Is that where you were going?
Our first night, we went straight into Asheville.
You did?
Asheville International. Yeah, until it became more like a military airspace. That's where, being that they got the bigger runway and everything. The first night was kind of not necessarily unorganized, but it was just figuring out what in the world's going on, what are we going to do, and how we're going to get there. I talked to some guys down in Charleston that were going up, and they were going into Statesville and picking up a bunch of stuff and then making the hop to Asheville, Rutherford, Pickens County, just random little places like that were close to Black Mountain and Burnsville and these places you seen devastated. And then it kind of turned out my sister made a little post, and it got a little bit bigger and way bigger and then bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we started running a bunch of stuff out of Georgetown that just cut out that Statesville and Concord trip for us, so we could just go straight out of Georgetown and get to the spot and then get back. And it cut down on time, cut down on fuel, helped us do it a whole lot cheaper than what running over to Statesville, burning a bunch of fuel, and then hopping over, and then coming back, hopping over, coming back, and then running back home, which was just 2 cut-out legs that we didn't have. So that helped out a whole lot. But, first night went into Asheville. We talked to them, got everything they needed, and figured out the whole deal of what was going on. So then we made our second trip back to Asheville, and that's when things started to really get lit up down in there. The military started to come in with the Chinooks and everything get set up, although there's still like that delay factor of when the hurricane happens to like 1, 2, 3 days after, where they get sent out and they get to do things and stuff like that. So it has to go through a whole chain of command, and then they got to get activated and everything's got to go up. So once that started getting up about the 3rd, 4th day, we started swapping focus down into Rutherford, which is close to like Black Mountain, and really, really close to them. and Pickens County and Banner Elk and Elk Mountain and all them. And we just kept flying that way.
Well, tell us about that remote runway you went into that wasn't even open, that you kind of tailwind into this spot. Tell us how that worked.
Burnsville? Is that no? Which one did you go into?
Banner Elk was the one we come into with the bigger plane, and that's just not the funnest airport to come into to begin with. They have a one-way in. You technically can have two ways in, but it's just if you come in on runway 30, it's too much of a steep approach to have a safe landing, and it's only deemed to do it if the winds are
because the winds are the factor, right?
Yep. If you say that the winds are more dangerous to land with a tailwind, then you can land 30, but you're also taking into hand that you're going to land with a steeper approach, which is a more unstabilized approach to land. When you're coming in max weight stuff like that,
tell us about what happened when you got on the ground with the people that were waiting on you.
Oh yeah. So, to finish up about like the Asheville thing, the crazy part about it, a lot of people don't know, is you come over. There's no really approaches for us to get in these places because they're mountainous terrain, so they can't clear you to land in weather and stuff like that. So, it really is playing weather as a factor. But you got to basically overfly the field at 1,000 feet and go down the mountain valley, and they got visual points that you turn into to come down the valley and land. And once you get down on final, you're coming in at about 25, 30 degrees to the runway, and you haven't quite seen it yet, and then you bank it over and get in there. So there's some that the trees you're coming in between trees, coming in to land. These mountain airplanes and airports they're just built for people that really grew up flying that way. I mean, a lot of times they'll judge a pilot by a couple things, like how many times they've been in the weather, how many times they've flown at night, how many times they've flown across country. But a big one the insurance company looks at is mountain terrain time, because that shows a pilot that if he's flown 20 years in mountains, he knows what he's doing because he survived long enough. So it's definitely keep your eyes open and know what's going on. But, yeah.
Did you ever get nervous?
A little bit. First night I didn't have the easiest feeling in the world because obviously Asheville was all blacked out and there wasn't no lights, so obviously there's no towers lit, and you're coming in mountains and you've been somewhere you've never been before.
You were in the dark?
Yeah, I mean, the first night we went, we were straight dark. We come in about like 10 o'clock at that night.
Wow.
And so all the mountains and stuff they're dark, they're black. You don't really know. You can read your charts and you can tell them, and you can read your terrain and on your iPads and stuff, and you can tell what it's saying, but you just got to trust it. And
you can't use your eyeballs. It's not.
Yeah, you can't use much of it. So
these people were glad to see you when you got on the ground.
Oh yeah, there was one guy in Asheville. We landed down there. He was almost ecstatic. His house got wiped out in the first 2 days of that hurricane, and he was actually sleeping in the FBO. And he was just ecstatic to see somebody because there was no help at that time. They had the doors open to the FBO. They weren't charging fuel out. They didn't have no system to go up or do anything. They're just people are bringing planes in and they're dropping stuff off. They didn't really know what was going on. I didn't have service, so I knew that they didn't have service to look at anything neither. And he didn't have no gas for his car to get back and forth. He was sleeping on the couch in the FBO, and I'm just like, oh man, that sucks. And I asked him what's one thing he needed, and he said, honestly, man, with all the people bringing in waters and crackers and these staple foods, he's like, I just want some real food. Is there any way you could bring, I'll pay for it. If you want to bring eggs or if you want to bring meat or something, will you just bring real food? So people at our church got together and stuff, and they bought each day they did foods. They did, the first day they bought a huge pallet of chicken tenders and other little tiny foods like mac and cheese and some other random things. And we threw it. They got it right before we left off. They had it hot. We kept it right up in the back, right in the sun, so it stayed hot. We got on the ground, and I've never seen a guy smile that much in my life. He was so happy. I thought he was about to just jump out.
Hey,
he come
Lord
running over there.
You, buddy.
Worth every second of it.
Well, back to and this was my thing that I knew Jason. Jason's got a big old heart. For anybody that doesn't know that yet, and Jason's got a big old heart, and I knew his experience up there was going to pull on that heartstring this week, seeing all these people and how much they appreciate it. But that first day at Banner Elk, when you landed, and of course I'm sure there weren't many before you that had gone in there, there had to have been a lot of happy people right there.
Oh, a bunch. Everybody, not one person has I heard say anything about stop or we don't need this or slow down or no, it's nothing but
so you mean what we're seeing on Facebook and social media is not the truth, where people are saying no, we don't need it?
I haven't heard one person say stop, this is too much or anything. I mean, we even had a pilot come in from Knoxville, Tennessee yesterday to drop his person off, and she was coming to her house in Pawleys Island, but he said they're absolutely devastated. They're in Knoxville, Tennessee. He lives on downtown Knoxville. And by the time I even got back, he said, is there any way you can load my plane up? And I was like, yeah, we can. So we went home. We got to church. We loaded the whole entire plane up. And he said, and we actually had pilots on the ramp at the time that were saying, yeah, we just had to call for a PPR to get in there because they're trying to kind of limit what's going on in there and try and just slow down stuff. And he's like, I don't know why, because we're absolutely devastated. There's no help, and we need to get stuff in there. So he's like, if you want to come down into Tennessee, we got a runway down there, and they're letting people in nonstop trying to get supplies in because they just need it. And we loaded his plane up with insulin and all these staple necessity foods, canned foods, even sent him on his way, max weight going out, and he took everything back that he could back to Knoxville, Tennessee. And
well, let's talk about that. You just said the PPR, because here's one thing that everybody is hearing and reading on social media is that now they're not letting airplanes in. That if you're not involved with FEMA, they're not letting you in the helicopters. That is untrue, correct?
Yeah, from my understanding, it is untrue. I do know that Asheville is more or less a military airport now. And you can get a PPR, but it's more or less on the grounds that
what's a PPR?
It's like a pre-approval request
to
come land your airplane. Basically, it's put in action in bigger airports to make sure they got the room for you, which I understand. They're trying to make sure there's a lot of people coming in these airports. They're trying to make sure that they got room for you to come and land, but they're also trying to not necessarily weed out some of the traffic, but Asheville that is mainly they have these bigger airplanes starting to come in now. They're trying to organize things. They're trying to make sure that it's a bigger aircraft coming in with really necessity supplies and that you have a valid organization that you're rolling with, and it's not just people coming in sightseeing or just dropping stuff off.
Right.
They're just trying to weed some of that out. But these smaller airports that are starting to get PPRs, they're really just trying, because Rutherford, they have I wouldn't even say.
Well, they're just real quick and I'm sure people have seen it on the map. Rutherford is like neighbors to Lake Lure. They're one of the closest towns to Chimney Rock, Lake Lure area. Well, Lake Lure, they're below it, but so they got devastated.
You can actually see Lake Lure on the departure leg of the runway out there.
Oh, really?
So actually, yeah, you can actually see all that. But
so you've flown over Lake Lure?
Yeah, I have. Yep.
Does it look as bad as the pictures?
Yeah. Yep. I got pictures on my phone and stuff. It's just, I don't even really know how to tell you. I've seen trees and stuff snapped in half, and they're just sticking up. I'm like, they said they got no tornadoes and stuff, but I just don't understand how in the world something got that bad to just completely snap trees and snap them on houses. And there was actually, we was cruising down the river going out. One of these times there was actually a request for the people said that they lost their mom that was she floated down the river. They don't know where she went, and they said, would anybody just fly down the river and see if they see somebody, just to kind of rest the soul a little bit. And we were like, yeah, sure, we'll go. So we had all of our pilots that were flying in the area trying to fly down the river a little bit, and didn't see anything, but you could see like houses just pinned up against trees. And I actually got one, there was like a V at the creek, and there was just 2 houses and a bunch of just random trash just shoved up in between the V. And I'm just like, how? Because I know exactly. I've been going to Chimney Rock and all these places since I was a kid, and I know exactly what they look like. And it's not a river. It's really, you see a lot of the rocks and the creeks and stuff, and like the little waterfalls and stuff. But it's pushing water. It's gushing. It's crazy.
It went from a little babbling stream to full rapids.
Yeah, raging torment.
I think one thing you just said, and here you are, you're 22. I think for a lot of us, like that is Tony has taken one vacation in however many years, and it was where?
To the mountains.
To the mountains. I think that's we all feel close to it because it's our getaway for a lot of us. And I've been going there since I was 4 years old.
Yeah, the thing is, coastal folks like us, when we have a hurricane, we see all this damage, but it's all wind damage. And the trees are broken and things down and all that. Well, up there, what I saw was where something is, say, 10 foot wide coming off a slope down to the road. It had cut the far side of the road off. So that means that water that was coming down off that mountain doing 90 is cutting roads, and the trees that, like we normally see trees blown over, a lot of these trees are already wet, and it doesn't take much to knock them over from what Alan was telling me, but
yep.
It's water in its height of water that's moving real fast, and it's taking these areas and just bulldozing it through there. Unlike what we see here on the coast, where the wind does all the damage. You have to kind of use your imagination to realize how much water was flowing through there to do what it did. This is unbelievable.
Well, and you got to think about this. I mean, say we're over in Murrells Inlet, or you're on the mainland at Litchfield or Pawleys Island, and we have a hurricane, and houses are destroyed out there. People are missing, and we all go get our aluminum boats. We go get something, and we drive over. We help people. Well, you take that same scenario, and you got, in some cases, 3,000 to 4,000 feet elevation difference in sides of mountains to get to that spot.
And access roads to get there.
It's just completely different. And, I mean, it's not anything. There's no way that North Carolina had that their EOC had any planning of anything like this, scenario like this.
No evidence.
I mean, so it's just, just an incredible situation. And
well, when you look and you see 10 miles of road just completely gone. You don't just go throw some black patch in that and fix the road. It's not flat terrain. It's not accessible. I mean, houses up there, some of them houses you might not see another house for a mile and a half, 2 miles.
Yeah, and they're not going to get to these people anytime soon as far as road access. I mean, we're on 105, and that's the main drag, and it's barely passable.
Well, real quick, I want to, for anybody that's just tuning in, we are Trilogy Outdoors Radio Show, and we are here on the Gator, obviously, but we are at Marshall's Marine in Georgetown, and we're here to help and push people to come on out here, and let's load up some more supplies to send up there this week in a truck that Chris Wilson with NWTF, Five Rivers, has gotten set up, and this is not going to be anytime soon that we stop this.
Nor should it be.
It's not. And joining us is Carter Sheridan, who is a pilot here in Georgetown. And like I said at the beginning, is Tony's nephew. And Carter was kind enough to, he's taking a little bit of a break. 37 hours in a week is a lot of time in an airplane, dude.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. I mean, 37, you're thinking a 40-hour work week. Like, man, you didn't even work a 40-hour work week.
Whatever.
We don't even want to get into that. I'll argue for you. Don't worry. I can be your lawyer on that one.
That's just in the seat. That's not the prep to go into these places.
I was going to say, how many hours did it take to get to that 37 hours?
I couldn't even tell you. I don't know. And it's crazy to even think just the chain that it takes to get this going, because it's not even nowhere near just me. It's my sister and my mom and my girlfriend and all of them and Miss Nancy and all of them down at the church. They're steady trying to it's not just here's supplies, let's go. It's here's supplies, we got to weigh them so we know how much we're putting in these planes, because now we're weight limited. And they weigh them, they bag them, they organize them. Then they get trucks there, and then they got people taking trucks, loading the trucks up, taking them to the airport. And then the people at the airport, all the line guys and stuff, they're tremendous people. They're filling up all of our airplanes, and they're getting us all loaded. They're getting the trucks through the gates to get to the airplanes, loading the airplanes up, and then you go to the air traffic control. And the first night in Nashville, I mean, they sat there and had a 10, 15-minute conversation with me about it. And that's unheard of for air traffic control to have a conversation with you, because they're so busy up there. And they had a conversation. They were like, oh, what are y'all doing, and how are y'all doing it? Like, we're doing some stuff up here. We're trying to get some stuff out there. Like, tell us what you're doing. And I told them and all that stuff. And then you get down into Asheville and Rutherford and all these other places, and they have mountains of people and trucks. And I mean, it's not one person, it's not two people, it's a whole entire village, because it gets from us to, it gets loaded up on helicopters. People are putting out these helicopters for people to run out there. They're dropping supplies off, picking people up, bringing them back, and it goes for everybody. I mean, it's even down to the weirdest things. Like, you wouldn't think about animals or anything, but they were taking animals out of the airports the other day because they were just finding them, and they basically call it angel flights. They put the animals in crates and they take them to a like St. Animal Francis Center, that people like that accept them. And it's just, you got to have people that accept them and stuff like that. But it's just, there's so much stuff you don't think about that goes into it, and it's crazy.
Loading your plane, you don't just throw stuff in this plane. You got to know how much it weighs, where you're going to put it in for the center of gravity in the plane.
A lot of math.
Exactly how much it weighs, and can you actually get the thing off the ground?
So you. I'm going to guess you don't own a plane yet, do you?
Nope. We've had a bunch of people.
So these people are donating these planes to let y'all use them.
Yep, and they do not run cheap. And they're they're taking the blow of the what they call the dry maintenance cost. Basically, they break down the hours and how much they cost of every time you run that engine. It's costs this much to get an oil change, the 100-hour, the annual, all these maintenance inspections we got to have on these planes. And these people are just have it in their hearts.
They're
to throw
absorbing
their
the
planes
cost. The owners are absorbing the cost of operating the aircraft.
Yep,
And
you got it.
And a lot of people don't understand. Yes, there is a need for cash and monetary because that is going towards that fuel cost.
Yep. And yep.
What is just your average? You've been
What is
there
your average in the single engine
20
plane?
times this week. What is your average on the gas to fuel to burn to go to Asheville and back to Georgetown?
Yeah, so it kind of depends on the plane you take. Them smaller 172s, 182s, they're burning about $250, $300 to get there and back, which it doesn't sound much when you're taking about, I think the other day we rolled the 182 out at about 600-700 pounds in cargo. And so that was a good bit. When you think about 600-700 pounds, when you're shipping something in the mail, think about how much they charge you at FedEx to put something in the mail in the box and send it off and whatever it is. And we're loading these things down to the brim, and you've probably seen the photos and stuff. So it costs about $250, $300 in between there.
Yeah, that's just fuel. What you mentioned earlier, all this maintenance costs is not inexpensive.
Yep, and we're thankful the owners are helping us out there, and they got the heart to serve too. But I mean, we've also had bigger airplanes like King Airs and other people like that. We had the one guy come in with the King Air. He cracked me up. He said, "Just make sure I got room to step every 3 feet. You can't overload it." And we still kept track of weight and everything, and we put all the max we could. And I got videos of how much.
I saw a video of the King Air. I think that was when somebody was in the back shooting the video forward and said that they just.
We could hold basically 300 in the front, 2,000 in the cabin, and 500 in the back, and top off the wings. And he was going back out. Yeah, and I was almost kind of shocked just how much you can hold with that weight, because I was like, okay, I was filling up my truck, and I'm like, this might overload it. We'll see what we can get with. And I got there, and I was like, dang, this ain't even nowhere near our. So think about filling up your truck bed and in the back seat of your car, and we're pretty much putting about 2 of them into each little plane, and then the King Air took almost 5 trucks. Of going in there. And
I'll tell you what, that's I've had a couple great experiences in King Airs, flying back in my golf days with private individuals in their planes, and that's a cool plane. That's a cool plane.
It's got lots of horsepower, and let's roll.
Listen, we don't want you to go if you have to go. We understand, but we want you to hang out. We've got real quick. Let's talk about our guest. We're going to be calling and getting on real quick. Fred, you introduce him. He's on the ground in North Carolina right now.
Louisville, North Carolina.
Right.
And there, so it's Alan Burchell, a good buddy of mine.
We've talked about him before. He's a big fly fisherman.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the fly fishing, I did ask him that yesterday. The guide community is basically out of business right now.
Oh, yeah, I would say.
For who knows how long, but Alan's with East Yellow Lodge. They're one of the they're set up to receive and get the stuff distributed out, and they're pretty well organized, and it was their operations was working pretty smooth. They have people coming in and getting stuff. Frantic girl yesterday was looking for clothes is what she was after, and we had, as you know, we had bukus of clothes, but they also had a semi-truck show up yesterday with sweatshirts in it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
they're going to need it. This week's getting cold up there.
It's going to be 30s and 40s all week this week. And we focused on Greg Holmes helping us out with fish skinny.
Man, did he ever.
Yeah. I mean,
love you, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, we went through what he brought when I got home, and we focused on getting the hoodies.
Well, he had more stuff because he sent us totes of stuff yesterday.
Well, all that was at my house.
Okay, yeah.
We sorted through it, got the hoodies out because I figured that would be most beneficial to get it in their hands.
Yep.
And Alan, I spoke to him a minute ago. He's going to be with us. He said there'll be fish skinny sweatshirts walking all over the mountains.
Advertising? Yeah.
But and Greg made a point. It's not about advertising. It's about helping folks out.
Well, here's what we're going to do, because we're going to have limited commercials today. We've got an incredible lineup. Again, like I said, Carter, we'd like for you to stay and hang out. And you probably have some good questions to ask Alan since he's on the ground up there. But we do need to take a break, and we're going to take a little bit longer break, and then we're going to try and bring you more from here at Marshall's Marine in Georgetown. Again, if you're out and about, we got a Dollar General right across the street. You can pull right over to Dollar General, go grab some of the necessities on the list, and come right across the street, drop them off, come hang out with us.
Yeah, the need I'm hearing is toiletries.
Yep.
My dentist donated 150 toothbrushes. You think these folks don't have teeth?
I can't tell you how many we loaded up yesterday.
Yeah. So, anything, deodorant, anything along those lines, they don't have it.
Well, we've got a couple others that are going to be joining us who have been up there. We're going to talk about that, the necessities that we're seeing. We're seeing that change, you know what I'm saying, a little bit with the weather and everything. But, Jenna, if you're ready, we'll go to break. Y'all don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the other side. This is Trilogy Outdoors Radio Show here on the Gator 107.9. Michelob Ultra and Myrtle Beach wholesaler Southern Crown Partners Incorporated know our consumers enjoy relaxing days on the water with Mick Ultra's crisp and refreshing taste in hand. It's important to remember to drink and boat responsibly. Choose to be or to designate a sober skipper before leaving the dock. Do it for your family and friends, your passengers, and everyone else on board. Michelob Ultra salutes all sober skippers who take the pledge. Cheers, and we'll see you on the water. Perry's Bait and Tackle has been making their customers' days on the water more successful and enjoyable for nearly 70 years. Perry's is a fully staffed and stocked family-owned tackle shop just north of the Marsh Wall. They have always taken pride in the best hand-tied rigs and a knowledgeable staff that is comprised of charter captains and experienced anglers. Their close proximity to the water allow them to offer the very best in live bait, and the options are endless. Perry's is now fully stocked with everything you need to make your day on the water a success. If you're in town visiting with no equipment, Perry's is your one-stop shop with apparel, tackle, baits, rods and reels, and boating supplies. Perry's Bait and Tackle, serving Murrells Inlet since 1954. All right, y'all, we're back. We're back here. Trilogy Outdoors Radio Show coming to you live on Gator 107.9 through that Toyota Tundra studio, presented by Sparks Toyota, where the dealer is always in.
And by Key West Boats and Marshall Marine of Lake City and Georgetown, where every day is a boat show.
Every day. And by our good friends at Monarch Roofing this week, donating a roof right there in Pawleys Island for the dogs. I'm having a brain part on the which one, but it's one of the
Paul's for dogs.
No. Oh man. Anyway.
Was it Dogs Way In?
No, it's not Dogs Way In. Anyway.
One of that group.
They put a new roof on them for them.
Good.
That's what our people at Monarch Roofing do. We now have our guest joining us, coming to us from Grandfather Mountain, right? Just at the base of Grandfather Mountain, right, Fred?
Real close. This is Alan Burchell, who's a great friend of mine, and he is boots on the ground, lives in Boone, but they're operating out of Linville, North Carolina, which is about 15 miles away, seems like downhill. And he is with ECL Lodge, which is a receiving point for goods. They've got it organized and operating, and lots of supplies coming in. And Alan, we really appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Hey, man. Anything we can do to help. But man, you guys are doing some remarkable things there. It's just warms the heart, and in times of need, it's outpouring of giving and people willing to help, just volunteering.
Well, willing to help. Alan, let's start here. You left your house and tell everybody what you had in your back of your truck in your first adventure to get from Boone to Linville.
Well, I've been working at Linville I started off in Linville as their outdoor programs director. So I was the fishing guide. We're running fishing trips, and then I've kind of, with my construction background, morphed into the director of facilities in Linville, and I run a Chestnut Construction Company there. So as facilities director, I've got to keep water going to the town of Linville, and we've got to keep the wastewater treatment plant running. All these, we had no power, we had nothing. So Friday night or Friday afternoon when the winds, it was really bad up here Thursday night, a lot of flooding. Friday the wind started and nobody had power. So as soon as the winds laid down enough where I felt it was safe, I put both of my sons, Clay's 25 and Cooper, who's 16, they're just, champing at the bit to get out the door and help. And so we loaded up my truck with cooler supplies that we may need because, my youngest son's type 1 juvenile diabetic. We put 2 days worth of supplies in his kit, and because we didn't know what we were going into and when we could get back. So we left with chainsaw, bar oil, gasoline, several chains, PVs, braking bars, anything we could use to try to get to Linville. And we set out about 2 o'clock after the winds laid up here in the afternoon on Friday, and made it to Linville 5 hours later.
Yeah, well, tell us about your adventure on the road. You're well equipped with chainsaws and everything needed.
Well, we were just trying to get to Linville to see who needed immediate assistance for life saving. If anybody was trapped or flooded in our little Linville community. So we got there. We had a little pickup on Highway 105 going to Linville. 40, 50 trees that have not been cleared yet after Grandfather Mountain going into Linville. So there was one DOT worker who had a mishap with his saw, and it went down. He bent the bar. So we just jumped in there with ours and started clearing trees. Had 12 or 15 good Samaritans, behind us in pickup trucks. They all jumped out, ran down there, and we were just cutting brush and trees and dragging them and cutting fork sticks and propping up power lines that were dead. Thank goodness, because we'd all be dead. But,
you hope so anyway.
So we propped them up so where the trucks could get under them. Some because we couldn't get them all the way down low to drive over them. And we made it to Linville. And then, it was just, you couldn't really see. It's dark by then. You really couldn't see a whole lot of the damage we did. We found out that the lodge had their generators running and some power, so we were housing our staff there that needed it. Wait staff, cooking staff that's left here came from their dormitories down into the lodge and housed them safely that night. Saturday was when it really came to light how catastrophic it was. It was a mess. Major thoroughfares washed out. Highway 105 had huge sinkholes and half the lanes gone, and it was that moment where in the darkest despair you see the local people here started just piling out. I mean, track hose, tractors, four-wheelers, anything that would roll. They started rolling out. The local paving companies, dump trucks. It was amazing. Saturday, the recovery actually began before the waters even peaked. It was amazing to see that action from the local population.
Well, all right, we'll move ahead to what you've got going on right there at the lodge and at what y'all refer to as the camp, which is a like a wedding reception facility type.
Yeah, we're very fortunate here at Linville Resorts and the Easy Old Lodge as great resources, and the history of the organization and the members there is all about the community. I mean, these are some of the most generous, kind people you will find, and it's very fortunate they just have tremendous resources. So our general manager is excellent. He's a good leader, and he was able to we shut down the lodge, we shut down the golf course, of course, and we made Linville a hub for getting goods out to the communities that are close to us. So we've got Linville is a mess, but we will recover. Spruce Pine, Plum Tree, all the little Bakersville, Burnsville, all those little communities, and the town of Port Newland has just got wrecked. So all those we are ground zero for those guys. We can get supplies to them in 15, 20 minutes.
All right, but yesterday I saw plenty of stuff coming in and didn't see a lot going out. But you mentioned to me this morning about the efforts now to actually get the materials that you have on hand and distribute them. So tell us about that.
Yeah, some of the volunteers are coming in with all of our facilities. We have these trucks. We have ton trucks. We have dump trucks. So we now have drivers that are volunteering to take loads, at least ton truck loads. We're trying not to put pickup truck loads there. We're really just doing big truckloads of stuff straight to these facilities as far as we can get them. So we'll hand them off to tents or aid stations, and
these are local folks, right, Alan, that are running this.
yeah, local folks. Yeah, local folks. It's funny, you guys. I'm sorry to sound a little disheveled, but as I'm sitting here talking to you, I've had 9 phone calls of people like, what do I do? Where do I go? What am I doing? It's great. It's awesome, man. People are just like constantly wanting to say, hey, where do I go with this?
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's that's good stuff with all the people wanting to help. But Fred, what we do is we hand them off to these centers that are even closer to the people in need, and then they get on smaller trucks. There's even a couple of guys with pack horses and doctors taking medicine back into some of these places that nobody can get to. Helicopters, if they'll continue to let the helicopters in, it's just, to me, it's infuriating to see all these private guys that are willing to help, like your 22-year-old pilot from down there helping. It's like these guys want to jump in and help, and they're doing great things. They could actually rescue people, but some of our local, some of the red tape, I guess, if they're not trained in search and rescue, they're saying the liability is too great. Don't help. I'm just like, oh my gosh, y'all. I mean, it's crazy. I get that, in a sense. I get it. It's everybody wants to help, and it's you just got to be real careful with the logistics. Fred, you're seeing it. You get all these people coming in, this inundated with these donated goods, and then it becomes a big, cluster. What do you do? What do you do now with all this stuff? How do you get it to the people who need it? And that's what Linville's doing in a superb way. We have the facilities to store this stuff. We have a pipeline to the people who need it.
Well, and that's what we didn't see at the other site we went to yesterday.
Most people are just going to be driving up, dropping it off, and leaving. And I can tell you that there's a supply of people that are willing to drive personal vehicles or some of our vehicles from the company and go straight to the places that need them most. Unfortunately, the roads are still in such bad shape in these areas that it gets smaller and smaller. It's 4-wheeler side by side stuff when you get down to some of these communities.
105's I'd call it a main drag. And it's got its issues, and we'll call that the main drag, much less all the fingers that go out from there from Linville and to try to get things moving around.
Yeah, Spruce Pine. They don't have any roads left hardly.
I heard Spruce Pine was one of the worst areas up there. One of the many, but
and it's just, and then on the darker side of things, we've got so many fatalities, and it's hard to even report an accurate number. There's still hundreds missing in these communities, and they're definitely in the recovery mode now, but it's catastrophic.
Jason told I had Jason Burton on podcast yesterday, and Jason said that when they were in Burnsville, in speaking to the authorities there, that as of this Monday coming up, that they were going all out in recovery mode.
Yeah,
at that point.
And Alan, Jason is a guy out of Myrtle's Inlet. They have just been amazing on how much gear they're getting up that way.
Yep.
And they went up earlier in the week and saw some stuff that's some people that had nothing when they arrived. So
one thing I really want to touch on is that this is going to be ongoing. And it's very fluid right now, and we're getting some good organization and getting things, a pipeline built, and leaders that tell people, what to do with their resources. Now, but in the next couple of weeks, it's going to start getting cold up here, and that adds a whole nother layer of what do we do now? How do we help these people? And so it's constantly changing, and so the donations a month from now will be just as important as the donations right now. They may change in what they need.
Right. Well, I was going to bring that up, Alan, is that something you can help us do down here and get the word out here is that we saw how much water yesterday. There's water for if somebody's thirsty for water, it's there, but the need's going to change as to what items do we need to gather here to get there to be most useful.
stuff, canned goods, can openers, believe it or not.
That's what I was told.
So,
Canned openers is
canned
another
openers.
is
People
something.
donate a case of canned goods that don't have pop tops. You know, it's still great to get the goods, but you can't open them. So, personal hygiene items, adult diapers to all the way down to baby diapers. Gosh, what else? Boxed milk, stuff that doesn't perish. You know, we need solar powered chargers, solar powered lanterns. Stuff for equipment, bar oil, chainsaw,
There you
oil,
go. That's
stuff
another
like that.
one.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's gasoline's not so much. There's pipelines that there are places getting gasoline, and that's so hazardous to transport. Wouldn't worry about that as much as I would the smaller little things of bar oil. But things that aren't perishable, that's what they're going to need most. Socks. The biggest request we have: socks, underwear, t-shirts. Things that are new. So you not and on pallets, because if they're coming in trucks, we can handle pallets.
You mean you don't want Fred going through his underwear drawer and grabbing some of his old underwear?
Hey, if I see anybody wearing a Sweet Tea Charter shirt, I'm gonna say I know where that came from.
Yep. I'll tell you a cool.
Anyway.
Here's an interesting thing that was brought up last night that was requested: pool noodles and 5-gallon buckets.
Yes.
For toilets, for making toilets.
Yep. Absolutely. Interesting. Yeah. So there's a lot to do. A lot going to be going on for a long time. And the people that have been affected, guys, they are some of the most resourceful, self-sufficient, proudest people you will ever meet.
Yep.
Just because they live in some little rural community in the mountains does not make them ignorant. Doesn't make them anything. These are remarkable people.
Please say that louder for the people in the back of the room.
Homegrown.
Please
MacGyver.
say that. I know. I'm
Oh my gosh, these dudes are, these people, men, women, and children are, they all have their faith. They're all faith-based communities. They all revolve around their church, but they're so resourceful with what they have, and they're the wealthiest people I know because they have a community, they have a church, they have each other, and they depend on each other. And it's some of these people, these families, these guys will lose their house, and yet they're standing there the next day helping others, and they have no home. And they're just trying to help the people that survived in their community, where generations, multiple, entire families have been lost. So, they just need a hand up, a little assistance, and man, they don't need help from anybody else really. I mean, they'll survive. But what the outpouring of the local people has been remarkable. Fred saw a little bit of that yesterday. Guys bringing bales of hay. People with just their farm trucks loaded down with supplies, water and food. I mean, it's amazing. It's where all this stuff is coming from. Well, it's coming from you guys. It's coming from my father-in-law's church down in Longwood. They have tractor trailer load of stuff ready to go up here now. And that brings me to something I want to say before I forget it and I run out of time. Is I don't know these people, but I'm gonna give them a shout out if I got time. So, Bryce. So whoever you guys are, ladies, then thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. If I ever get a chance to shake your hand, I'll probably just give you a big old hug. But Bryce, Gavin, Trey, Terry, Frank and Linda, and Greg Holmes from Fish Skinny.
No doubt.
Greg gave. They're going to be people walking through the woods of North Carolina with Fish Skinny hoodies on for years to come. They probably don't know what that means, but they've got it. And then last but not least, look, I've got a good friend down there, Capt Fred. Now, Fred, you and Noah and Daniel, what y'all did and what Noah did, in short order, thank you so much. You drove 6 hours up here, 6 hours back, and that's giving. That's what that kind of heartwarming action that's what keeps you going.
Well, I can tell you that from the moment this became what it did, that you were on Fred's mind. I promise you, I'll go back and pull up text and show you that on Saturday of last week or even Friday last week, we were already starting to talk about this, Fred, weren't you?
Yeah.
You had already brought it up.
I'd like to take
Never did we imagine it would get to the degree where we've got pilots sitting beside us with planes and to where we're at now. But, I mean, it's just it's incredible.
Well, Alan, I'd like to take credit for a lot of that, but I'm going to say at least 90% of the effort that went into what we brought was Noah. Through his social media and his buddies and the names you mentioned, is all those guys are the ones that fill that truck up. But one thing, Alan, we're going to need to depend on you is that as we go through this is to keep us informed as what's actually needed. In other words, like you were mentioning, the bar oil and, pre-mix with the oil and all that, is to let us know what we need to collect here. We were sending everything, but it's going to come to a point that there's going to be specifics that you need. Keep us informed, and then we'll see about getting what you need up there.
I'll tell you
I will. And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead, English.
I was thinking about this yesterday, and Carter, with you sitting here, I want you to listen to. But I was thinking about this yesterday. If you notice, like, there's so many different groups out there. That, like, this group's talking about this, you can go there and find good information, and this group's talking about this. And then for us locally, we've got so many different, like, we're all a team. Like I was telling Scotty earlier, like, we're all working for the same goal, and that is, like, we want people pulling into Marshalls right now, bringing items to come fill up this boat and load up this tent for a trailer to go up there. But it's not part of South Carolina Needs Help and blah, 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 or whatever, or MIFC's effort, but we're all doing the same thing. And I'm thinking about starting a Facebook page that's just that's basically generalized, and so we can all go there. And so Alan can go on there and say, hey, this is Alan and whatever, and this is the needs that we have now. And just so that we have one spot, instead, like the Sheridans, they have Casey. Done great on y'all's Facebook page, but not everybody knows to go there. You know what I'm saying? So if we did a page that like that and created it so that we could do that, because you mentioned something. This is not going away next week or the week after. Right. This is going to continue on, and to keep people involved, you're going to have to keep their attention. You're going to have to keep their interest up, and I don't think there will be. I don't think at any point in time that this crowd down here will stop, will give up. I think it is we want to help as much as we can and as long as we can. And I'm speaking for everybody. I see it in everybody's eyes, and from talking to Jason, I can't wait to talk to Adrianna, who's coming in. She's our news reporter that was up there yesterday. But they're seeing they're seeing what's happening because of these small efforts that we're putting in on our end and what the difference is making, and it's only going to snowball into continuing to be bigger. And that's one reason why I begged Carter so hard to come on here. I was like, please, dude, you're going to touch somebody. If they hear your story, you're going to touch somebody. And I think having Alan on here, that's why it's so key for people to hear that we can make a difference. You don't watch the media. We're making a difference. Like, every little bit helps, and that's the thing. If you can donate 2 toothbrush, bring them over and drop them off. Every little bit adds up. I watched it happen all day yesterday at MIFC. I watched cars pull up. One would have 2 bags. One would come with 3 cases of water. One would come with a bag of a truck bed full of everything. The next one might come with cash. But it all makes a difference, and
absolutely,
we've just got to keep bringing it and keep people informed of what's needed. And with our communication line with you and Fred, I think that's going to help a lot. So we'll keep it. We really appreciate it.
Well, Alan, look, man, we love you, man, and.
Thank you. Boone Boone's pretty strong too. We got a little messed up, but the other side of the divide, man, the Linville community on down the river is just absolutely it's absolutely catastrophic. So we're gonna continue all our efforts, and let's not forget Asheville. Let's not forget Tennessee. Greenville, South Carolina, Spartanburg. These places got hit hard. all over. So I know resources are spread thin. So I'm not going to be hammering on, National Guard or FEMA. I mean, the people that are out there doing what they're doing, I'm sure they're working hard and they're doing the best they can with what they have to work with. But it's what I want to say is that, man, the local people are amazing and they're doing good work. I don't know how these Zelle accounts work and all this stuff, but I will try to get some information to Capt Fred. And
Okay.
but we do have Zelly. How you say him?
That's it.
Zelly. Yeah, we do have
yeah.
accounts. I had to get my 16-year-old son Cooper to help me turn my phone on this morning, so I don't know this stuff. Anyway, let's see. We have these accounts set up for a place called Weekirk Presbyterian and All Saints Episcopal Mission. That's WEE Kirk, KIRK. But I'm gonna send all this.
Yeah, send that to Fred. I'll get it on our site.
You get it out there.
Yeah, we will. And listen, I know you got a busy day ahead of you, a busy week, busy months, and man, we're here for you. You're in our prayers. All of you are in our prayers, and
thank you, man.
Send
a prayer to my old local fishing buddies and fishing guides, man. They're going to be hurting too. Our fisheries just got rocked up here, so we're sending some stuff their way too.
Well, look here. You know, if you need your fix of fishing, you get in that.
We got you hooked
get
up,
in that
buddy.
truck and you get on down here.
We got an army of fishing, buddy.
You can meet Carter at Banner Elk, and he can ply you down after he drops off and bring you, and then he can bring you back the next day.
Tell him I look forward to that ride.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Hey, thank you
man.
so much.
I appreciate you getting the word out.
Yes, sir. And make sure we get all that information and we'll share it.
I'll share it with Fred and he'll get it to you, man.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much.
All right,
y'all. We got to go to break real quick. We got to go to break real quick. We'll be right back on the other side. You're listening to Trilogy Outdoors Radio Show. We're live at Marshall's Marine in Georgetown. Y'all come see us. For nearly 10 years, we have loved being involved with some of the best businesses along the Grand Strand and promoting them, their services, and their employees. And Monarch Roofing is second to none. If you're looking for any roofing needs, commercial, residential, our friends at Monarch Roofing want to take care of you. You're looking for affordability, you're looking for the fair pricing, you're looking for honesty, they are who you want to call. If you visit monarchroofing.biz, you can find out more, but let's talk about all the things they do in the community, along with keeping us all dry and safe at home. Roofs for Troops is an incredible group where they're putting new roofs on top of veterans that can't afford it. This group does golf tournaments, fishing tournaments, and everything else to raise money, and we are proud to be a partner in that and hope to help them over the next couple of years continue to grow this. But if you're looking for a roof, you're looking for the right people, you're looking for honesty, reach out to Monarch Roofing, monarchroofing.biz for all your roofing needs today. For over 50 years, locals and tourists alike have chosen Crazy Sister Marina for all their needs on the water. Whether to paddle the backwaters of Murrells Inlet on a kayak, tour the inlet in one of their rental boats or pontoons, or to fish with one of their many choices of charter fishing boats. Regardless what your needs are, Crazy Sister Marina has you covered. New for this spring, they are offering free ice to any customers that fill up on gas or bait when visiting their convenient gas stop. Don't forget about their eco tours, as well as the always favorite dolphin tours available at Crazy Sister Marina. To find out all the info on everything they offer, visit crazysistermarina.com and let them help you live like a local when you're in town. All right, y'all, we're back. It's Trilogy Outdoors Radio Show. We're having fun. We're down here at Marshall's Marine in Georgetown.
Where every day's a boat show.
Where every day's a boat show. That's right. Coming to you live via that Toyota Tundra studio, presented by Sparks Toyota, where the dealer's always in. And we are, as you can hear, it's Bike Week. We are sitting right here in front of Marshall's Marine, and it may get a little bit louder now that traffic's picking up, but we're waiting on that traffic to pick up coming in the parking lot here. We're here trying to gather some supplies to send up to North Carolina. Marshall's, along with NWTF 5 Rivers Chapter and a couple other, are putting together a drive, and they've got Lake City Store here, and I remember, I think it's a church in Andrews. I'll have to double check on that one, but they have got a really good pile of great stuff inside of here that's going to be getting shipped on Tuesday. They're leaving Tuesday. and heading up there with it. But we do have joining us, we have Carter Sheridan here, who has been on with us earlier, and sitting in now, back from a short vacation.
Very short.
Very short vacation. Is the one and only Chef Richard Florzak, private chef to the stars. And Chef, you went fishing.
One of my favorite types of fishing.
And that's surf fishing.
Surf fishing.
Yeah, but you went somewhere different than here.
I went up to the Jersey Shore. My brother owns a place right on the beach, so I try to take advantage of it at this time of the year because it's so great. I know y'all aren't into bluefish, but to me there's nothing more exciting than knee-deep in the surf pulling in a 10-pound bluefish. It's just so exciting.
A 10-pound bluefish, that's about 15 of our bluefish. And just so you know, Adrianna's going bluefishing this afternoon. She doesn't know it, but that's what we're going after because we need bait for king mackerel.
Oh, wow.
So that's what we're going to catch.
It's a lot of fun. And, this is when the striper run starts. My nephew is fishing with me. He's quite the striper fisherman. So he walks away from where I'm fishing.
Yep.
And all of a sudden I hear him yell to me, "Hey, check this out." And he had a 28-inch striper that he pulled in.
Nice.
It was right in the foam. Can you believe that?
That's where he caught it.
Yeah, right in the foam. Yep, on a Hopkins lure. Wasn't even casting out, but maybe 20 yards.
A Hopkins lure catches anything, doesn't it, Tony?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, what else did you see up there?
It was absolutely amazing. So this is about...
And you were in Jersey.
In New Jersey, right out in front of my brother's house.
Did you see Snooky while you was there?
I try to avoid her. Anyway, so all of a sudden I'm looking and, there's a government truck that goes by, so I kind of nod. And then a front, what do they call that, a front loader?
Yeah. Bulldozer.
A bulldozer,
Yeah.
right, goes by, kind of wave to him, nod, Then all of a sudden a dump truck comes by. I said, what the heck is going on? And I look about 50 yards down the beach, and there's a 12-foot dead whale on the beach.
Wow.
In New Jersey.
In New Jersey.
And my brother came out of the house. My wife came out, and they walked down, and we all walked down, and they're telling us to back up and everything. And the more we talked to them, the more we found out this will not be reported. So my brother said, is there any official that's going to come and check this out? And they said, why? And they said, well, this is a big event. A dead whale on the beach.
Yeah.
And one of the workers there said, this is old news. This happens all the time. And that's exactly what it is. That there are so many dead whales ending up on the beaches in New Jersey that it really has become old news. And a lot of people will say that it has to do with those god-awful windmills that are just off the coast.
Right.
But all information about it has been squashed. Nobody's going to report it. Nobody's going to see it. Wouldn't you? Imagine a whale came up onto the beach here.
Oh, Adrianna, she'd be the first one there with the camera.
Right. And a number of other news crews. Not even a reporter there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, did you get, they really think that it had to do with the windmill?
It's the consistent argument that goes on, but it seems kind of coincidental that they put up hundreds of windmills, and all of a sudden it's never happened before. 10, 15, 20 whales have washed up on the beach there over the last year or two.
That's crazy. Obviously we're up against NOAA with this whale speed limit thing.
Yeah.
Adrianna had done a great story on that, several stories, that would basically affect every boat from 35 foot and up during the months of January till, it's either December or January through May, 10 miles an hour from, I think it is 8 miles or 12 miles offshore to 78 miles offshore.
And I've heard...
And that's commercial. That would be recreational boats. That would be cruise liners. That would be everything.
And I've heard you all talk
of whale interaction with boats.
Talk about this topic often. How how far along is this? I mean, is there a good?
It's so far along that it is probably very close to passing, unfortunately.
Chef.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably close to passing, and if it happens, like, forget the fishing side of it. Like, that's the thing I keep saying, and Geddes Brandon, our good friend from South Carolina Boat and Fishing Alliance, says, think about the commercial. Think about those big boats that we all think are moving 8 miles an hour. They're moving 15 plus knots,
Right.
and now they're going to be pushed down to 10. So it's huge, and the numbers are 350 plus, right, or right around 350 of northern right whales.
Nice.
And so we followed it we followed it hard.
Yeah.
Everybody's followed it, and unfortunately, we'll see what happens. Hopefully,
Well, this is yet another example of what happens when big government gets involved. I fled a state that voted for big government all the time. And I hate to bring politics into this, but it's a very, very important thing. And it's happening right now in the topic we were talking about for the first hour. And that is what's happening in North Carolina specifically.
Yep.
You want to vote for big government, these are the things that happen, because when it gets disastrous, disaster situation, big government does not help like the individual does. The bigger the government, the smaller the individual. And I'm telling you, folks, that's what I fled. My wife and I fled, because guess what? You know what they have where I came from? They have floods and fires every single year, and nothing changes.
Nope. You're right.
And they don't have the mentality there that we have here, which is just so phenomenal, that people get together and they solve the problems.
Yep. That's true. That's the good old boy. That's the good old boys.
My God, am I glad
I bet you can't guess what state he came from.
You're talking about New Jersey, so probably New Jersey.
No.
Hollywood.
Really?
Yeah.
California. Yep. And I'll say that, you mentioned that you saw, I'm going to guess as the week went along, you saw more and more military aircraft, or, I'm going to guess private sector aircraft right now, helicopters in particular, are outnumbering the military still.
Oh yeah. It's a flood of people going in there.
Man, it's just amazing. Like, I really don't want to bring this up, but I'm going to, and we'll probably get kicked off after this week. But it's just amazing the resources that are going into an area south of United States, but yet it can't go in to help our own people.
Nope.
Like our own people. That there should not have been any hesitation. There should have been, and if I've seen it in social media. I've seen several National Guards, women and men, putting videos up. Please don't be mad at us. Like, please don't be mad at me. I'm trying. We can't do anything that it doesn't come from above. And I feel bad for them because, your dad is in the air. Is he still in National Guard?
State Guard.
State Guard, yeah.
Highest ranking state guard out there now, isn't he?
He's up there somewhere. He's up there, yeah. But he's in Aiken now. They had something go down there with I don't know what in the world it was with some. I think it was chemical plant or something down there.
Yes, with the fire.
He was down there, and they've been. I think he's still down there. He's probably gonna come back today or tomorrow. But they're starting to probably gonna bring him back down here because they're looking more towards the floods for here. They don't know what it's going to do with all this water coming down through the gates and everything, but I know Santee will probably get up. I think they're expecting to get up about 23 feet or something like that. So that's obviously going to take a toll. So I think they're coming back down here. But they did eventually send, before he got sent out, he sent more of his groups out up towards upstate with chainsaws and everything, and they're doing all that stuff. So they're very, very considerate people when it comes to time. They all got off work. They all pretty much put themselves before anything else, and went out there and they started cutting with chainsaws and put themselves in dangerous places to help the others, which is a really good thing. State Guard's a very good asset to have in a state, and I think every state should have one, and especially in times like these, it just shows you just how important it is to have these little organizations and have these kind of people out there.
No doubt, and it's just we have some great resources in the South Carolina National Guard and Air Guard. We do. We have, incredible. And you got to think that most of them were like, listen, they train for this. They train for it all year long, every year. And this is what they want to do. And they're like probably sitting there going like, why are we not
Let them
helping?
go do
Why
it.
are we not up there? Why are we not helping? I did notice that there were some ospreys involved that showed up and were doing some stuff, which, by the way, you could never get me in an osprey. If you Google osprey and Google accidents, it's like they're one of the most deadly aircraft in the military. More accidents have happened in an osprey than anything else. And then the Chinooks, the Blackhawks, and then some of those private helicopters were just unbelievable.
Oh yeah. When we landed down in Nashville, it was actually kind of crazy how many of them were running. I think I almost counted like 16 or 17 helicopters on the ramp with engines fired up, and it was just fast as we could get it out the plane. I knew exactly how much stuff we were bringing in, and the hangar was going. It wasn't even coming in as fast as it was going out. They were loading these helicopters up, getting to the fields, dropping down. You were flying out. You could see them on the ground, landing in the fields. It was actually a pretty cool little sight to see, but just as fast as we were getting it in, it was going out even faster. It was kind of crazy to me.
And that's again why we need to keep awareness and keep promoting this and keep pushing it. Real quick, because I know we've got some other people showing up, but I want to talk to you real quick. How does somebody get involved, and how can they contribute to your group, to you guys, as far as fuel money goes, or as far as supplies? How can they do that?
So on my sister's Facebook page, Casey Sheridan. There's a lot of them. You've probably seen it hopping around a good bit, but at our church, Georgetown First Assembly of God, they are accepting donations. They are accepting not just personal donations. They're accepting like clothes, money, food, anything you want to donate, anything you feel to donate, they'll take it. You can organize with her or the church. I'm not sure the hours it's open because I've been on the other side of the spectrum, but you can donate that way, but there's also a GoFundMe going around with not just my pilot group, but there's a bigger pilot group. I think it's called the acronym for it's DEMI, but they're out of Charleston and they're still flying even when we're not flying. They're flying, someone's flying, and they're covering the fuel, and so they got a lot more planes and pilots down there too, so you can donate either other way to anything helps going up there. And fuel's expensive. It's almost $5.50 a gallon around here on the East Coast, but up there in Asheville right now, I think it's going upwards of $8 a gallon. So you can see just how quickly that goes by.
Right.
But mainly the donations are really needed right now. They're starting to really skimp low. But I think we're going to start turning our attention to go into smaller airports that aren't getting the attention. We're running pretty much off of request stuff now. We're getting a lot of random requests of this family's here, this family's here, this family's here. Can you get anything? And when we get on the ground, a lot of times they'll ask us, does this go to a specific family? And at the moment, we haven't been doing that besides once or twice with some people. But if you have any requests of people anybody you want to check on, anybody you want supplies to go to, you can pretty much tell us that, and we can get exactly where it needs to go. All we need is an address, an airfield, and a name, and we can get it where it needs to go.
Yeah, I saw your sister put that on there, and that's a great idea and a wonderful option. But like I said before, dude, like I know I'm speaking. I don't even have to speak for your uncle. I know how proud he is of you, but I have texted you multiple times how proud I am of you. Because I can remember, Tony, remember him sitting in here at one of the flounder seminars. What was he, probably about 14, 15, and he won the cooler. Did he win?
Yeah.
Yeah, won the biggest thing here.
Won the big, nice Yeti.
Yeah, man. But, man, you've done great things. Continue to do great things. Continue to work for God. And dude, again, you're setting a great example for others at 22 years old.
Thank you, Carter.
Yeah.
Thank you and your mom and your dad and your sisters for everything you're doing. And your Aunt Shannon just told me you're doing a great job on the radio, and she said tell you hey, and she loves you. So
hey.
I got to tell you that so I don't get hit over the head when I get home. So.
Yeah, and I'm going to speak for you because we got to mention that girlfriend that you mentioned is back working at our favorite tackle store down here, Paulie's Island Outdoors.
Go see him.
Go see her, and she'll get you straight. And trust me, once you start talking to her, you won't want to stop because you just want to hear that voice.
Yep. As for the shortest blonde girl you can find.
Yeah, just look for Shorty. Look for Shorty when you go in there. But Yeah. Hey, by the way, Paulie's Island Outdoors. Thank you guys for listening. And I got to give a fishing report. We do have to talk fishing real quick. South Strand fishing report. Chip Bull, thank you so much. Our good friend from over Sparks Toyota. He said if you want to catch a tarpon, go right now to Georgetown and go. He hooked and lost quite a few the other day. Did not land one. You ever caught a tarpon?
Nope.
Okay, I finally caught one last year, so it's not like they're easy to catch, okay? But he said the numbers are incredible. There's so much bait out there that it's time to go. So your South Strand report is brought by Paulie's Island Outdoors, and I wasn't trying to kick you off, and you don't have to take the mic off yet, but I want to get you, since Chef put his down, Adrianna, you grab his right now. Go ahead and get it on, and now I can officially introduce you to Adrianna Lawrence, Carter Sheridan.
Hello, how are you?
I'm not bad. How about
we
yourself?
texted, but nice to meet you in person.
You too.
And for all our listeners out there, you know Adrianna. She's our WBTW news reporter that we have adopted.
Hello, friends.
We have
How's
adopted.
everyone doing?
We've been fortunate enough to adopt her, and
I'm the fortunate one to
well,
meet you guys.
I tell you what, I was second guessing that on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Thursday.
What?
I was second guessing after hearing, she was so excited to go. We got her to go. We got her on board with a group from SC Needs Help, I believe, with those guys, with KJ Jordan and them.
Yep.
And they made it to Florence and got on the interstate and blew the first.
We blew, so the tire came off.
Tire came off. Sorry.
Tire came off.
Sorry. Let me rephrase
Tire
that.
came off. We sat there for 2 hours on the side of the highway. Then for like 2 hours, and then we put another tire on. And then I'm not kidding you, we got 2 minutes down the road, like a mile down the road. The tire completely blew. The axle was like bent. And we were like, yep, the trailer's done. We're going to need to switch out, find something. So Bradley Parker brought up a U-Haul for us. We met at Black's Tire. Shout out to those guys because they didn't charge us a dime for anything. They helped us once we got to Black's Tire, moved all the supplies from the U-Haul, or from the trailer to the U-Haul, and just did it from the kindness of their own heart. It was incredible seeing the community, and that was just the beginning. Like, we didn't even make it up there yet, and that was just the very beginning.
Well,
you're not putting in a very good resume for more people to go with you.
Hey, I think we experienced the worst.
Maybe you got all the bad luck out the way for everybody.
There you go. I mean, after that, it was smooth sailing.
You had a cameraman with you as well. Did you take one?
Yes. Yeah, they wanted my bosses, they wanted someone to be there with me. So just to have, another colleague there, another support for me. So he came up there with me, and I was so happy to have him because, just the storytelling, that we did 9 interviews, the amount of people we were able to meet. Through all the devastation, it really shows you that there is still humanity out there. There is still such a huge community out there. And one woman told me, this county and this county, they're always been separated, but in this time of need, that didn't matter, because what does that matter if none of you were there? So the whole community came together, and it was incredible just talking so many different people, meeting, and, we're doing a big thing this upcoming week on, different stories and trying to showcase this as best as we can because, there's hard stuff going up there. It needs to be told. So
well, let's talk about where you were.
Yeah, so we were in Lake Lure. We were in Hendersonville. Well, we started the morning in Hendersonville. We went to like a hospice nursing facility. And those people, when we got there at like 8:15. There were patients, senior elder patients that were there, both at the facility and, stuck in their homes who didn't want to leave. And these people, the workers were just crying. They were so appreciative of us bringing those supplies. So we were there for a while, and then we went up to Lake Lure. We went to this church. It was so random. This church, he had like no supplies there whatsoever. He wanted to, give out to people, and he had nothing. And we happened to find him and meet him, and it happened to be the church that KJ and Christy used to go to when they were younger. It was crazy how it worked out. But we gave him like a bunch of supplies, a bunch of money, and he was, just tearing up about how happy he was. He drove us in his ATV all over the place, showing us, some of the damage. Lake Lure, it was, when you got down to the beach of Lake Lure, it was like devastating. Just seeing it looks like a bomb went off in the lake, like where people would go and vacation and have fun and stuff. It was just,
hey Bryce,
it was horrible. So, and there was police personnel. We saw military helicopters, and they were basically saying that they were keeping people over here because there was just so much devastation on the other side of the lake. And then later on, talked to a woman who she had set up a supply stand there, and she was in tears. We did an interview with her. I mean, it was so moving talking to her and her daughter. And then we ended up at the distribution site where everything from Myrtle Beach, Neil and Pam's, Creek House, we got to see, okay, this is where you guys have donated here. This is where it was coming. These are all the supplies. And there was a ton of Myrtle Beach.
Isn't that actually where Melania Trump was?
I heard
earlier
something
in the week.
like that. I think it was in Bill's Creek, wasn't it? Okay, because I heard them talking about that.
Yep, she was there. The first truck got there, and shortly after they delivered, Melania Trump showed up at that location there. But
she brought a bunch of Starlinks and stuff because they had a Starlink there. So
yeah, I think Elon and Donald did some stuff together. Is what I was told. I don't know that you may have heard through the pilot grapevine. I don't, but I know they did some stuff together.
Donated a bunch of Starlinks to people from what's out there.
Yeah.
Starlink has been a saving grace for a lot of them up there. Little things that we take that we would love to have on our boat. All of us would love to have on our boat, and now it's yeah, I heard there were a lot dropped off, and they put them in areas where they were able to be used. And then I heard, was it Chevy and was it whoever has the Starlink on their vehicles? No. They opened it up where you could use it and not pay for it, like the system in the truck, so they could use that and different things. But I'm glad you got to see it. I'm glad you got to go. I know you were nervous. Like we were texting the day before. I know you were a little nervous about what you might see and everything else.
Oh, yeah. I was like...
Was it worse than what you'd planned for?
No, and I think that's the thing that I took away from all of it. And people up there, going up there should know is like, there are so many roads closed. Like the worst of the devastation, like Chimney Rock, completely gone. There's Black Mountain, Swannanoa. Like you can't get up there because the roads are blocked off. The officials, like they're up there. You can't get up there. And so we didn't see that bad of damage in the areas we were in. But I mean, just hearing from the people, you could tell, obviously the devastation is there. But I think another thing is like they have already so much supplies, and it's really up to the people in those areas to take it and bring it up to the people up in those mountains and stuff. But with that, it's like you can only get up there in four-wheelers. So it's really up to the local communities up there who know that area well to get it up to the people in those mountains, because there's so many people that I heard that just don't want to leave their homes.
Yep.
Even though their homes are completely gone, devastated, I get it. They don't want to leave. They don't care. And they're like, just bring the supplies to us, drop off the supplies. So I think at this point, just keep bringing the supplies, but it's really up to those local communities who know the area to get it up there, to get it in the different spots, and officials, military, police officials to get it up there. So
I think the story about all the mule groups now. Have you seen that?
Yep.
Those are incredible. Cool. Like some of that terrain they're putting up that they're going over.
That's the only way they can go.
Yeah,
Horseback,
you can't.
Mule.
ATVs, nothing is going to get through there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know there was a lot that touched you, and I don't want to. Your story has not come out yet.
Yeah.
So we don't want to get too much because you got to keep your real job. But everything you saw, what probably leaves the biggest impression?
I think honestly, just talking to the people that lived there, like the lady that I talked about, that was she's on the side of the road. She was giving out supplies and stuff, even though she's like, we haven't gone through the worst of the worst. We lost our power. She's like, but I still have like all 8 of my grandkids. Like everyone's okay. But she's like, I've heard this story, these people dying. These people have gone missing, and it's like through all of that, they still have the drive to get up and be there for their community, their neighborhoods. And I think what really left an impression on me was just how this community could just band together and how appreciative they are of all the supplies that are coming in. I think that's really just what warms my heart. And again, there is still humanity out there. And for me, I think it's just so important through the stories coming up this week that we were able to capture yesterday, especially from a local point of view, was that, hey, all the Myrtle Beach community, you guys donated all these things. Let us show you where your donations are going and how it's really impacted the people. You're going to hear from the people who are actually being impacted by this and continue to donate. They still need this. This is going to be something that is months, years, everlasting, and is going to be a forever impact on these people.
I know you guys can pull from other stations for reports and everything else, but I just think it's so much more genuine. I think it's going to be so much more well received that you actually
I want to use my
made
own
the
stuff.
effort
Yep.
and took the effort and time to go up there.
Absolutely. Wouldn't want to be doing
you
anything
agree.
else.
I mean, Fred agrees with me. I think it completely makes a big difference that you yourself went to report on it.
Yeah, she's got means to get the word out, and also in the future as to, what the needs are on this ongoing thing that Alan was talking about. That this isn't going to stop this week, and the media tends to do the exciting stuff and then disappear. But this gal right here, I think, will keep the focus on where it needs to be.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, thanks to the Myrtle Beach community too, though, because they're the ones that are getting together.
And with that, I want to shift gears. I want you to stay right there until Jason comes out, but I want to shift gears to our other guest who's here, and that is Chris Wilson of NWTF 5 Rivers Chapter. Real quick, do you know Carter Sheridan? Have you ever met Carter?
No, I sure don't.
Well, this is Carter Sheridan. Carter is Tony's nephew, and a pilot that's been flying in and out of North Carolina every day. Well, here, we'll put that over there. You didn't have to take the mic off, by the way. But Chris has spearheaded this effort here, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. The fundraising that we're doing here at Marshall's, and you got a good pile of stuff in there, just in case you didn't know. But let's talk about that. Where can somebody contribute the next couple days? Because you're not going Tuesday, you're leaving?
We're leaving 5 a.m. Tuesday morning.
All right. And so they can drop off here and some other places?
You can drop off here at Marshall's in Georgetown, Marshall's in Lake City, the First Baptist Church in Andrews. You can contact me and I can meet you somewhere. Or one of the other places in Andrews is Magic Hands. It's on Main Street in town. You can pull up my Facebook page under Chris Wilson, and it'll have it listed on there, all our drop-off points.
I've shared it, but I'll share it. I'll share all that.
And we've also started Amazon wish list.
That is pretty cool. Please, let's talk about that. You and I, yes, we need to talk about that.
I got a good friend of mine that's in the turkey call business, and he is boots on the ground in some of the worst areas up there right now. They're taking trailers every day. Actually, he texted me on the way here. They're on the way up now with 6 enclosed trailers full. He is sending me updated items every day as he gets service to let me know what's to put on the list.
What's their destination?
They are out of North Wilkesboro, but
North Wilkesboro. That's been like I think a big hub right now, isn't it?
It's a big hub. Yeah, but they're traveling into Black Mountain, Chimney Rock, all that area. They're tied in with one of the horseback groups, and as well as they're hauling a bunch of UTVs and four-wheelers and all that stuff in today to get into more of the area that hadn't been touched yet.
Right.
Yeah, they have a clearance. Somehow they got a clearance.
That's important. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get to those guys.
Y'all did hear on horseback.
Yes.
I mean, this stuff is, these people hadn't been touched yet.
I know. It's terrible.
It's over a week, and we're bringing in four-wheelers and horseback to get stuff into people that hadn't even been seen yet.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, real quick, you got a little guest there behind you over there that may or may not have harvested an animal this morning.
Yeah, we got Bryce here with us today.
My man Bryce is here.
And he actually was able to kill a nice doe this morning.
Way to go, buddy.
That's why we're running a little bit behind getting here.
No, that's all right. That's your turkey hunting and your deer hunting, buddy, right there.
That's right.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll take some of that venison. Just one backstrap will be fine. One backstrap will be fine. Well, congratulations. I'm glad you had a good morning. So right now, Scotty and I were talking about it. He wasn't sure where you're going to be distributed into the same. You're probably going to go to North Wilkes-Barre. That's where you're going to.
We got 3 truckloads. One's going to actually be going to Hickory, North Carolina. One's going to North Wilkes-Barre, and I've been in contact with a Baptist church in Spartanburg.
That's right, South Carolina. You're keeping it.
I'm gonna probably take the Spartanburg load and see where we at from there, and I may end up coming back through Hickory and North Wilkes-Barre. The guys telling me in Spartanburg they really hadn't got a whole lot on that end, and what they don't use, they will physically transport into Asheville.
You know, I hope we're not overlooking our own. You know that in the upstate.
Yeah.
I hope we're not overlooking going past them, but I do realize that it's way worse up there.
A buddy of mine hadn't had power in Greenville till yesterday morning, and a power crew from French Canadians reconnected him into the system.
So there's a ton of Canadian power group electric groups up there, I heard.
Yep.
That's good.
He was happy, believe me. They'd gone 8 days without power in Greenville. You know, we're all talking about the mountains, but just in the upstate. And I saw the numbers the other day. It was amazing how many people still don't have any juice up there.
South Carolina, like I was looking at the numbers, when all this was going on, South Carolina had like the top most people who were without power. And then I think second was either Georgia or North Carolina. But South Carolina had over like 1 million people.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I did have, I've heard people's requests that are in South Carolina for stuff. And I believe some was being distributed there. But it does seem that the devastation is far greater as far as long term.
The thing is, if they chose to, they could leave. That's the advantage they have.
Yeah, there's no choice up there.
Yeah, I mean, they could come to the beach, you know what I mean? But the people we've been talking about up in the upper mountains, they don't have that option, you know.
Well, what's really scary to think about and what I heard from a lot of people yesterday was they got, and I think we all know this, they got no warning. You know, this was 5 a.m. where they maybe got some word about the Lake Lure Dam that was going to
potentially
give out or whatever. Yeah, and so there were some people that evacuated, but there was others in the mountains where they weren't leaving. There were so many people, like I said, who were in their homes. They don't want to leave. And what do you do at 5 a.m. when water is rushing to your home and you're asleep? What is there to do at that point? There's nothing to do, and then you're stuck.
And who would have ever thought that this would happen in the mountains?
Exactly. So many people said, like, oh, you guys are used to this. You prepare on the coast through these hurricanes. Like, even Debbie, and Helene just now, we got not that big of an impact, but we still prepared, you know? We did what we had to do because we prepare for the worst like we do on the coast.
Yep.
There's no flood insurance up there. Like, they don't get this type of flooding that we do down here. It's like you can't even fathom it, you know?
So, and if you just think about the Black River flood, what was that called, the 100-year flood?
1,000-year flood.
And the almost slap in the face sarcastic money that FEMA was not so kind enough to hand out to these homeowners that lost everything here, it's going to be the same way up there.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I don't even want to get into it because I get so fired up about it.
I know you do.
You know, just like you were saying earlier, it's the good old boys that's going to bring these people through. It's not our government. Our government's terrible.
Nope, you're right. You're right. It's terrible. And to sit here, you know, I'm glad you're getting to go. But I feel like an outcast because you've been there now. She's been there. He's been there multiple times.
Yeah, but you're doing your part on this end. But I'm gonna tell you something. Christian Army's got power.
Yep.
That the federal government has never imagined, and that's what you're seeing going on.
No, there's no doubt about it. I mean, listen, this is the wonderful thing about the Gator, by the way. We can talk about God, and I know that God has a huge hand in what's going on up there.
Absolutely.
We all know that. I mean, anybody that doesn't know that, I hope that they get assistance. But every single person at this table here, Jason inside, I wish he would get out here before we run out of time because Jason really got touched. And I mean, his excitement just yesterday looking at me and seeing my eyes, watching everybody just pulling up nonstop yesterday at MIFC, dropping stuff off. It was just one car after another, and he tapped me on the shoulder. You glad you came up here, aren't you? You're glad you came up here. I was like, yeah, man. But help me get this case of water. But it's just unbelievable. We live in a wonderful place. We are full of incredible people here. And we all have differences. We all have difference of opinions on different things. But it's amazing that a tragedy like this has once again brought us all together. And you can go back to 9/11 and think about what it did. But it's once again brought us all together. And, man, we're strong people. And our friends in Western North Carolina are just incredible. And most of them that live there chose to live there. They, and there's a reason they wanted to live there. And they're badasses. I'm sorry. Can I say it like that? They are. They are. They're going to get through it. But look, here we go. Look at a truckload of stuff. Oh, and those are important. I'll say that the diapers are that's on the list of.
They were telling me they need baby formula, cleaning supplies, diapers, like anything when it comes to like babies, children.
And the charcoal.
Yeah, charcoal, clothes especially. Definitely a lot of clothes. People lost all that, so.
Yeah, I know on Tuesday I had a guy contact me. He's been collecting new and slightly used. He has 20 50-gallon black trash bags full of clothes that'll be going with us.
And the clothes this week and going forward are going to become important too. And like Jason said yesterday in our podcast, a lot of these people have clothes. They can't get to them.
Right.
They got brought, if they got rescued and were taken away from their home, they can't get back to them. So that's where the importance. And then you got so many homes that were just
without a doubt
destroyed.
Another thing too for people that's looking at donating, I've been seeing this a lot. The weather is supposed to change up there pretty quick. It's going to start cooling off. So these folks are going to need some long sleeve blankets, sleeping bags, all that good stuff. So also think about that when if you're going to donate.
Absolutely. I wish we could sneak Jason out here, but I guess I'm going to go ahead and write him off. I guess he's busy in there, so we'll just keep talking. Once again, to get in touch with y'all and your drop-off points, again, are here, Marshalls, Lake City.
Yep.
The First Baptist
Church in Andrews or Magic Hands in Andrews.
Magic Hands, that's the other one.
Or you can contact me at 843-485-6417, and I'll be more than happy to meet you. We will be loading here at Marshall's Monday after lunch. So if you want to make a donation, get here before Monday at lunch.
Okay.
And I'm about 110% sure we're going to do another load. We're going to just see where we at after this one, and we'll roll on with another one. And we're going to try to get to some more drop points other than the 3 that we're going to right now, unless they need more at these drop points that we're going to on Tuesday.
And this is another thing we were talking about, and Carter mentioned it earlier, is that we're all working for the common goal. And if you end up with stuff and don't have a truck going and need to get it, you let us know. We can come get it down there to the inlet and get it in one of those convoys. Carter loaded in another airplane last night. Was it the night before?
Yep.
One night loaded an extra plane that was going back. The guy said, "Hey, I want to take stuff with me." That was flying up there, but
5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Oh, we got 5 minutes. Good. But the common goal is we're all working for the same thing, and if we work together, it works a lot better. And again, this one over here has been. He didn't want to do a TV interview. Didn't want to come on the radio.
He changed his mind though.
We changed his mind, and he did good. But I told him, I said, you got to think about it. You're not doing it to promote Carter Sheridan because you don't need to. You're doing it to promote what we're all doing.
Exactly.
And
the bigger picture.
And you're and hoping that somebody listening to the show or watching her on news gets touched by it and says, "Hey, I want to get involved."
Yep.
Because it every little bit is what we need. We need everybody to help, and it's not short term. This is going to last a while. We're going to be doing this for a while. You're gonna be flying a lot of hours.
Yeah, probably. There's still places untouched. We're still looking at more airports. We're getting more airports day and day, and they're actually starting to get these airports cleared off too, which is a big thing. One of the biggest things we're concerned about was actually bringing bigger aircraft in there. When you seen them roads and stuff that were actually they washed out and they sat down like that, and we're like landing 20,000 pounds on it's not going to be pretty if it ends up doing that. So now that everything's starting to dry out, we're looking to try and get in. But the biggest thing I can say is that you were saying earlier, I feel like an outcast not doing anything, but really, if you didn't do something, I wouldn't be able to do nothing neither, and the people on the ground down there wouldn't be able to do nothing neither. So everybody has their own little niche to get this whole operation running to be a smooth, lubricated machine. So it's just the people promoting it to the people that are donating. It don't matter what it is. It's the people that get the stuff bagged and weighed and put in trailers to get to airplanes, to get to trucks, and people that are donating trucks to get not without one person in that, nothing would work. So it's everybody conjoined effort.
And I think that's a good point because I feel like there is a lot of people in this, like you see on social media, that are overwhelmed. It's like, how do I help? I want to help, but how do I help? And it's literally like, look up on social media, talk to your friends, look at the businesses, restaurant in this area. I can't tell you how many businesses and restaurants. It's like it's everyone that are collecting donations. Like, look that up and find one and take your donations there. And then those guys will do the rest of the job for you. Like, if you want some place to start there. Just donate money, donate supplies, whatever you need, and then it'll get done from there. People will get it where it needs to go.
Think of a Facebook page name, because I mentioned this and everybody seems to kind of agree, but think of a Facebook page name that we can start and do that'll be just, basically just, it'll concerning Georgetown to Little River operations. Yeah, operations. But then we can all communicate together, and like Alan can go on there and say, hey, y'all, we're seeing a bigger need for this, and we're seeing a bigger need for this, but yet it's not, it's for all of us to use. Because, like, again, his sister has done a great job, and if you go there, you can see all the information, but not everybody can go there. Like, not everybody's going to find it, but at least if we did something like this, and put it out there where it's all encompassing, and everybody's together in there, and I think it'll help in communication.
Absolutely. 1 minute.
1 minute. All right. Well, listen. Thank you guys. And Jason's inside. He must be looking at another boat. There's no telling with Jason. He's probably in there looking at a boat.
He's there with his kids.
Real quick, fishing report. Yeah, Fred, grab that. Let's talk fishing real quick. The beach bite along the coast is on fire. The mullet run's going on. Yeah. Tarpon down south. We already talked about that. I know there's a lot of king mackerel and Spanish mackerel being caught right on the beach.
Yep. One thing I want to say is that I know you guys tune in for the fishing show, and we didn't do much fishing show today.
No.
But we appreciate you listening, and don't ever feel bad that you don't do your part, 'cause you definitely do, getting the word out.
Well, real quick, I'm going to say this because you're normally the one that gets on me about not being a fishing show when I'm not a fishing show, but I will say that this week we all stand together, and it's okay if we don't talk fishing.
Correct, and this is just so much more important than fishing, guys.
Yeah.
So get involved, man. There's plenty of ways to do it, and he is up to his ears in this stuff. He may not be driving a truck, but good point you were making that we all have our part in the chain.
Well, I'm going to try and do everything I can. My little man's got to go to surgery on Monday, and if he's doing good by Wednesday or Thursday, I'm going to the mountains. I love it up there. This time of the year, it doesn't get any better. But if I can go up there and make a difference, and if nothing else, me and Tony will go up there and put oil in chainsaws for somebody to use, or change the blades on them, or do something. But I want to get up there and help in some way, shape, or form. So, but it's just, again, our community here, it just incredible. Everybody's just been incredible. And the cars are pulling up now, delivering stuff here for Chris to load up his trailers and get them up there as well.
Keep them coming. Keep them coming. We got plenty of trailers.
Definitely keep them coming. These guys are open till 1, right, on Saturdays? Yeah, they're open till 1. And then Monday, be here by 12 o'clock.
Yep.
Be here by lunchtime, or you're gonna miss it. Jenna, thank you for helping with all this chaos today. Phone calls all worked out. And Carter, thank you for coming in.
Anytime.
It was a pleasure to hang out with you. Jason Burton, I know you're in there buying a boat, but thank you for driving down here. Sorry. And he brought the kids. Jenna, he had to bring both kids with him. And Chef, I'm sorry.
Parenting.
Chef had to go spend a little time at the other studio at Pond Road Storage before he realized we were down here because he doesn't read his text messages very well. But anyway, and Tony the Bassmaster Carter, you are the quickest setter-upper I've ever met. Today was the fastest we have ever set up, I think, for the radio show. He did a good job. He did a great job. But we'll be back next week unless we get canceled for whatever I said earlier.
Long.
Yeah.
And no
Thanks
Jenna
for
next
listening,
week
guys.
again.
Yeah. No Jenna next week. She's taking too many vacations. But we're gonna be fishing sometime this week. I promise you. At some point, we got to go chase a king mackerel for the fall classic. Y'all make a difference. Get out and doesn't matter which group it is, where it is. Find somebody. Make sure they are reputable and make a donation or help out in any way, shape, or form you can. I promise you, it makes a difference. And we're going to get on out of here and let y'all listen to some country music. But on behalf of Tony the Bassmaster Carter, the chef, private chef to the stars, Richard Florzak, Captain Sweet Tea Charters, pilot or Captain Carter Sheridan, I guess. I don't know what you call. Adrianna Lawrence over here, Chris Wilson, Marshall's Marine. I'm Captain E, and this has been the Trilogy Outdoors Radio Show here on the Gator 107.9. You all know that the inlet rocks when it comes to great fishing and good times on the boat. Now the description of why this inlet is so great is now the new bait and tackle shop here to serve a rocking good time to all the fish heads and anglers out there. Ronald Stalvey brings his enthusiasm, excitement, and genuine care for the angler to the new store and is ready to serve all your fishing needs. If it's live bait, hand-tied rigs, the hottest in artificial baits, frozen baits, apparel, and much more, they have you covered. If you need anything that you don't see, just let Ronald know. Stop in and welcome them into town and get all the latest report. Inlet Rocks Bait and Tackle opens daily at 5:30 a.m. and is located on 17 Business, just a quarter-mile south of the Murrells Inlet Landing.
Trilogy Outdoors Podcast is a product of Trilogy Outdoors Media. All views and opinions of our hosts and guests are not necessarily those of our sponsors. Trilogy Outdoors is produced and edited by Trilogy Outdoors Media. Be sure to follow us on all the podcast platforms as well as our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And also, don't forget our other brands, Southern English Radio Show and Walk 'em All Outdoor Magazine. To find more information, visit TrilogyOutdoorsMedia.com. And remember, if it's anything dealing with fins, fur, and feathers, you're going to find it right here on Trilogy Outdoors.